All right. Hello, everybody. My name is Bob Irving. I'm a middle school computer science teacher at the Porter Gaud School in Charleston, South Carolina. And I'm a huge fan of Minecraft and have been for, I don't know, 10 years at least. And I'd like to talk a little bit today about promoting digital citizenship through immersive role play in Minecraft Education Edition. And I'm going to talk a little bit. I'm taking a little bit of a different tack on this, which I hope that you're okay with. But let's think about it this way. I would like to first of all define citizenship. What is it? And those Latin scholars out there know that citizen comes from the Latin word for city. And some of the Romans, the Greeks, the ancients had this radical new idea that every member of the city was responsible for being a part of how that city ran. You were invested in it. It was your city. That's what you identified with. And so if you were an active citizen, that meant that there wasn't some autocratic ruler or whatever up there that made these decisions for you, but that you were part of the decision-making process. And so that's this kind of concept of citizenship evolved over centuries, really, from that. So I know it sounds kind of crazy. I'm sure back then it sounded even crazier. But I'd like to suggest something kind of radical here. Let's see. And here's my question. Is digital citizenship, is that a thing that's separate from in real life citizenship? I mean, what's the opposite of digital citizenship? Physical citizenship? Non-virtual citizenship? Remote citizenship? I mean, what is it? I actually believe, based on 17 years of working with middle school students, that there is no difference between digital citizenship and regular citizenship. It's kind of like if you talk to students about their digital lives, you'll probably get blank stares. Why? Because they don't have digital lives and non-digital lives. They just have lives. It's all part of life. And I think the same thing applies here. All right. So the qualities that we want our students to have, and we as teachers, we talk about this and work at it all the time. You know, when they leave us, what do we want? We always talk about that we want them to be global citizens or local citizens or whatever. And, you know, good people that contribute to their cultures and their countries and their towns and their cities and all of that and the world. All right. So I think the qualities that we want our students to exhibit are the same in the digital world as they are in the quote unquote real world. In fact, I'd like to kind of not have that distinction if we can avoid that. So I'll talk a little bit about it. So what are the traits? And I think we would probably all agree on most of these, that we want our students to have basic ethical behavior. It's just really simple stuff. Now, because I work with middle schoolers, it is simple stuff. We don't get into the weeds of, existentialism or whatever. So, don't lie. Don't cheat. Be responsible for your actions. Don't steal. Don't take something that belongs to somebody else. Accept other people. And the golden rule, treat other people the way that you want to be treated. I find, even in my classes, I'd rather have a big guiding principle than a lot of rules and do's and don'ts, right? And if the golden rules, it's been working for a long time in many cultures, religions, and non-religions, okay? So I have found that pretty much every bad behavior that you can think of and a student can do in Minecraft has a corollary in the quote-unquote real world. So, plagiarism, presenting somebody else's work as your own, bullying people, ganging up, saying hurtful things, doing hurtful things to other people, taking other people's stuff, breaking other people's stuff. And conversely, the good behaviors are the same. Sharing, caring for others, acceptance, empathy, tolerance. These are the things that we want our students to have. And so Minecraft is an amazing vehicle for teaching and learning this. So going to have a couple of case studies here. We'll see if we can draw the parallels. And these are actual things that I've had happen in my experience, and I'm sure that if you've run any kind of Minecraft clubs or camps or used it in class, you have seen this happen. Okay. Case study number 1. Student A griefs student B's Minecraft build that the other person built for their class project. And by grief, we mean breaks. So student B spent all this time building it, picking out the blocks, measuring, making sure it was perfect, beautiful, it worked, whatever. It was redstone, it worked perfectly. Somebody just came along and just bam, 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 broke it all up. Well, that's one of those teachable moments, isn't it? That you look for as a teacher. So when this happened, I went to student A and I said, tell me, how is that different from going into their locker? Let's say they made one of those, little paper mache volcanoes or whatever, or something like that they're, they put it in their locker, they're going to hand it in class. How is that any different from going into their locker and smashing it to pieces? Big pause. I guess it's not really. Oh, really? So, because what's the difference? I mean, that person built whatever it was that they built, their volcano. It took them several hours. They had to get all their stuff together. They built it. They had to carefully carry it in, put it in their locker. They're going to hand it in later, and somebody breaks it. They start to get the parallel, right? Then we have something to talk about. So there's another human being behind that project. They put a lot of thought and effort into that project. And then, of course, the million-dollar question is, how would you feel if somebody did that to your favorite build? So we're back to the golden rule, okay? Treat other people the way you want to be treated, or don't treat them the way you don't want to be treated, whichever version of that works for you. All right, that's case study 1. Case study 2. I can't tell you how many times I've seen this happen. Okay, student A is a Minecraft noob. Comes to club, never played before, hears that it's great, doesn't know how to survive the night, doesn't know how to break trees, move around, collect resources, crafting table. Oh my God, that's just crazy. So student B takes advantage of that by harassing student A. Fighting them, killing them, making sure they dig a hole, make sure they fall in it, or wall them up, or whatever. It's pretty hilarious until it isn't. What's the result of something like that? Usually student A quits playing Minecraft. For sure quits playing anything with student A. Okay, well now it's talk time. And this is where you try to build in some empathy, which is one of those values that we want our citizens to have, right? And I just ask questions. Did anybody help? When you first started, did you know how to do everything? Anybody help you? Oh. So what kind of city, what do you want your Minecraft world to be? What do you want it to be like? Do you want people to feel welcome of all levels and skills and interests, or, what do you want? And then I say, can you come up with some suggestions for how to make this world, it's our shared space, a place where, old timers and noobs can play together and everybody can enjoy it? What are some things that we could talk about to make that happen? And it's funny, but I've had that conversation with quite a few students, and it makes them think, So here's what I'm going to suggest. Before you get anybody into your world, front load I'll just call it the democracy, the citizenship into your world. All right. As the teacher of this Minecraft world, you're the benevolent dictator. You lead the discussion before anyone even goes into it. Wide open discussion. What kind of world do we want? What kind of behavior do we want from our players? What kinds of behavior do we not want? What's going to create maximum fun for everybody. And I think everybody can get behind that. I've never had a student say, well, I don't want maximum fun for everybody. Everybody wants maximum fun for everybody. And then you say, well, we want this, we don't want that. The people shouldn't be allowed to, or they should try it, whatever. And then you ask, now, how do we try to make that a reality? And that's when it gets interesting, because you're going to get answers from dishing out all kinds of severe punishments, to banning, to kicking, to all this. Well, now that's actually citizenship. What kind of society do we want to have? How do we make that happen? How do we make it so that everybody in the society feels that they're a part of it? How do we do that? Okay. So I often have somebody write out the Constitution of this world, and every player reads it and signs it. This is what I've learned. If they've made these rules, these constitutions, they are much more likely to be invested in seeing that they're followed, which takes you, the teacher, out of the role of being the autocrat, and it spreads the responsibility out amongst everybody. Maybe somebody could make a sign with the agreements, put it in a prominent place there in your world, and revisit them as needed. I mean, maybe they didn't think of everything. Something happens and they're like, oh, well, we certainly didn't take that into account when we were thinking up the rules. And they say, okay, well, maybe we need to revise that. Societies change, we get better at it, we learn more, all right? So in this way, they're becoming citizens. They're becoming citizens of this. Now, what about Minecraft makes this work? And here's what I think. I mean, I don't actually know. Maybe you have a good idea, but I think it's that it's a shared environment. And as soon as people get into it, it lends itself to almost anything. So if you're a builder, a fighter, an explorer, a redstone engineer, a coder, whatever, you find you can get right in and start doing things. And it's amazing. I think it's the secret sauce. Maybe there's something else. I don't know. But perhaps because, students feel invested almost right away. They want to start doing stuff, making stuff, and they want to make sure other people don't mess it up. And so they want it to work. And then we start to learn the fine art of cooperation, negotiation, compromise, all those things that we need to learn how to do as global citizens of our country. And you can learn it in this immersive role-playing environment. And it's real. It's not just a practice for something that's going to happen in the future. It's actually real. And I think that's the secret sauce. I highly recommend this. There's all kinds of things you can do, lessons, and I'm a believer in lessons, but I think the immersive role-playing part of Minecraft is what really makes it work, because they're in it. They're not being preached to or talked down to. They're building their own little city. They're citizens, and that's what we want. All righty.